So, school and work put in a team effort and kidnapped me, GW fan the softcore brony, and I couldn't play My Little Pony Fantasy 6 for quite some time, but hey, I'm finally back! So, I feel that I need to clarify something that came out a little backwards at the beginning of the last video. What I meant to say regarding the version 0.99 update was that of the things that we've already seen, nothing important was changed other than some of the monster sprites. There were some very important changes, but fortunately for this LP, we have not had the opportunity to see them yet. So, today, the Veldt! Yeah, there it is in all its glory. So today, everything you never wanted to know about the Veldt, which means, you know, a lot of technical stuff. That's pretty much all this video is. So, ironically, despite the fact that I haven't been around for a week, feel free to skip this one if you hate these long explanations, although this is going to be one of the last ones for a little while. If need be, though, I am going to post all the important stuff in the video description. So, okay then, to start. Yeah, if we need to talk about Pinkie Pie, because without her, there would be no Veldt, or maybe vice versa. I'm not really sure which came first, Gao or the Veldt. Well, anyway, as always, we'll start with Pinkie's stats. So, the first difference between Gao, or Ga, or however you say his name, that wild kid, you'll notice that most of Pinkie's stats are actually a little lower than his. For once, even her battle power isn't that much higher. Despite what you might think, this doesn't go against her, though, because Pinkie is designed a bit differently than him in general. You'll also notice that, unlike that wild kid, Pinkie actually has a fight command! She's one of the other characters whose fight command is actually quite worthwhile, but we don't care for reasons that will be explained in a little bit. And for you FF6 buffs, her random ability is the new Rage command, and Bounce is the new Leap. I'll get to those in a bit. So, yeah, let's take a look at weapons real quick. The difference here is that Pinkie can equip weapons, period. Yeah, you'll notice that she can equip claws, like Luna. This is extremely important. And, yeah, she can't re-equip that Mithril Knife, you'll also notice. Say, does the fact that she's starched with the knife supposed to be a reference to something there? Quick fix? You know, I'm just... Well, anyway. Let's see. So yeah, this means that she can also equip relics like the Magnet Hoof and the Power Grip, which is also rather important. So, alright, it's time to go over these random abilities. So, notice... Here we go, that I put this on wait just for demonstration purposes, so I'm going to go ahead and get in the battle real quick. There we go. Alrighty, so you'll notice that Pinkie starts with a few a bit random abilities by default. None of these are especially useful or anything, so don't expect Pinkie to be the king of fighters from the get-go. So, here's the basis of how she works. Select one of these, any one of these, and Pinkie will then use a special ability. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that particular monster. For example, the Were-Rat doesn't normally use the poison ability there. So, I'm sure maybe you FF6 buffs who have not played this particular version just noticed I can select something else. And also, I was able to select whatever target I want. Unlike Gao, or whatever is, however you pronounce whatever. That other guy, you know who he is. You can actually change abilities if you want, and you're not stuck in a Berserker type mode, which is pretty darn cool. And what's more, not only can I select, but I can choose to multi-target so long as the ability is multi-targetable. Okay, that was pretty lame, I gotta admit. Anyway, can you believe it? There is so much information to be said about the Veldt that I actually had to write a script just to make sure I cover it all. So now, without screwing up anymore, and sticking to the script, let's get on with it. So continuing from where I left off. Since Pinkie no longer uses a Berserker-style mode when executing any of these little abilities of hers, she will not switch between using the ability and the fight command. In this mod, she will always use the designated ability. This makes her considerably more reliable than, that wild kid from the original, though of course I'm still an advocate that he's one of the most underestimated characters in the game, but hey, that's a different discussion altogether. Anyway, there is still more to be said about all these abilities, which, by the way, have no MP cost, something I forgot to say earlier. As many of you FF6 buffs know, when you execute an ability, Pinkie also inherits that particular monster's elemental properties. For example, when you use Were-Rat, you will gain a weakness to fire, but you will also be able to absorb the poison element. But wait! In the original game, you couldn't switch abilities. So, how does that translate to this mod? What happens if I switch from Were-Rat to Rhinotar, which only absorbs lightning? Do I change attributes? Well, yes and no, actually. In actuality, you will gain both elemental attributes. In this case, a weakness to fire, but the ability to absorb both poison and lightning. But wait again! What if I use this ability? Imtech Armor, which has a weakness to lightning. Well, unfortunately, I can't demonstrate it exactly because I didn't teach Luna Bolt, but, awesomely... Oh, crud. That's not good. Hang on a sec. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. Let's see. So, as I was, before I was rudely interrupted, what happens if I use Imtech Armor, which has a weakness to lightning? Well, I can't demonstrate it because I didn't teach Luna Bolt, but awesomely, any elemental nullification or absorption brought on by either an ability or an equipped piece of armor will supersede any weaknesses that would have been brought out by any given ability, regardless if it is used before or after. So even though I've used Imtech Armor, I will still retain Rhinotar's lightning absorption ability. When you put all this together, so long as you have a lot of abilities, Pinkie Pie can easily become a sort of magic tank right from the start, absorbing or nullifying any magic that comes her way, including what those two jerks up there just did. By the way, that goes for status effects too. Imtech Armor, for example, is immune to status effects like poison, screwy, zombie, and even instant death. And these all stack up on Pinkie too. And so do buffs. You probably noticed that, despite the fact she even died, that Pinkie has been glowing yellow since I used Imtech Armor. That's because Imtech Armor has an inherent safe ability, which passed on to Pinkie. Keep in mind, though, that this goes for negative effects too. For example, Whisper has inherent seizure, and I'm not going to demonstrate that, which will make Pinkie take damage every now and then as if she were poisoned. You may or may not also find undead status to be a benefit or a curse, which Whisper also happens to be. In both cases, there is no way to undo the effect until the battle is over. By the way, if you do decide to use Undead, which will make instant death attacks heal you, but curative magic and items hurt you, you might want to stock up on, oh well, actually I don't have any, but cupcakes. Ow, jerk. Because cupcakes are one of the few ways to heal undead characters in battle. And remember, as I said in the last video, that cupcakes can only be purchased in Ponyville and nowhere else. Oh, by the way, if for some reason you still have strategies that would use the old version of Rage, and you could still use Brawler, which still works exactly the same as in the original game. I assume that the reason this ability was still left the same, I might as well demonstrate it, is because Brawler technically comes with an inherent Berserk status. So it would have been kind of pointless, to choose the ability only to have Pinkie under Berserk. Like this. Anyway, but that's a lot right here, and wow, yeah, I still have a lot to go. Before I get into how to learn new abilities with Pinkie, how about I start going over how the Veldt itself works? As you can see, I'm still currently in a battle with one Pterodon anyway. Enemies we last saw on the Late River, and Pinkie just killed him. Nice! In truth, you can fight nearly every random encounter in the game here on the Veldt, as long as you have encountered it before. How does this work exactly? Well, fights in the Veldt are divided into what are referred to as packs. Each pack contains 8 possible predetermined monster formations. What I mean by monster formations is like what we are looking at now. We were looking at. 2 Pterodons. Sorry, that was part of the script. Anyway, you may recall from the beginning of the last video that I showed off a fight against 4 stray cats. That too is a battle formation, separate from another possible battle formation comprised of 2 stray cats and 2 grasshoppers. So long as you have seen a battle formation and didn't get game over, you can see that same formation here in the Veldt. Now, there are a total of 64 packs on the Veldt, although 9 of them are empty and serve no real purpose. Not all packs are filled with 8 possible formations either. There are even a few that only have 1 possibility. Packs are numbered from 1 to 64 and will always go in order so long as there is at least 1 monster formation to fill that pack. If you have not met any monster formations in that particular pack, then the Veldt will skip on to the next available pack. Simple, really. Well, I'm probably going to be showing a bunch of pictures here since this is kind of boring me just sitting here. Anyway, so how does this information help you? Well, if you know the packs, of which I'm posting where to find a listing of them as well as all relevant information on the Veldt on screen, and I will also be doing so in the video description. If you know the packs, then you can determine what you will be fighting next. For example, those 2 pterodons I just fought are 1 possibility in pack number 5. Next is pack 6, which contains 5 possible monster formations. Although I haven't met 2 of them yet, so the game will randomly choose 1 of 3 possible monster formations. With this information, I can predict that in the next encounter, I may fight a Lobo and 2 guards, or a Were-Rat and a Repo Man, or 2 Were-Rats. So let's see what I get. Oh, and there we have it. A Were-Rat and a Repo Man. Nice. Oh, that little demonstration and explanation out of the way, let's get on to how to learn new abilities with Pinkie Pie. As Cirpius explained in the last video, Pinkie can learn new abilities here on the Veldt. Only learn new abilities here on the Veldt. Simply select Bounce, and Pinkie will jump on the enemies, and the battle will end. She's now out of the party, and when she comes back, she will have learned the abilities of both of those monsters in the battle formation, or I should say all of the monsters in the battle formation, even if we killed some, or if they have not appeared in battle yet. Of course, she already knew Were-Rat, but anyway, what do I mean by enemies that have not appeared yet? Well, you remember that monster in the box, Telstar, that enemy we got the green beret from? I didn't let it live long enough to show you, but eventually it would have called in some soldiers to back it up. If Pinkie bounces on that formation, even if Telstar has not called in the soldiers, Pinkie will still learn the soldier ability. So anyway, now Pinkie is out of the party and she has taken all her equipment with her, but fear not, she will just have to find her again the same exact way we recruited her, minus feeding her a cupcake though. We get in a battle here in pack 7. Come on. And after we win, Pinkie has a 5 in 8 chance of showing up, if I ever get... There we go. Oh, hello. Okay, so we'll just beat the crap out of you real quick. Oh, keep in mind, she will not appear if you were in a back attack, pincer attack, or side attack, and she did not appear this time. Only standard battles count. So... Anyway, while I'm searching for Pinkie, there are a total of 48 battle formations that Pinkie actually cannot return in no matter what, because... Oh, there's Telstar. Oh, should I... Yeah, let's, This is perfect. I can totally show off that, what he does. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, because, Pinkie can't show up in every single fight, because she technically takes up the 6th slot in a given battle formation. In some formations, if a monster happens to take up that slot, then Pinkie can't occupy it. Ow. Come on. There we go, alarm's ringing. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, those are the soldiers I was telling you about. Even if those hadn't appeared and Pinkie came back right now, she would learn the abilities of those 2 soldiers. So come on, let's get through this battle real quick, Luna being all ridiculous. I'll just skip to the end here. Well, heck, she didn't appear. I'll get back to you when she actually comes back to the party. Aha! There she is! And then you can actually choose to fight her and scare her off, but sometimes you won't even be able to do that, so... Yep, she's back. Let's travel together. Alright! So, now that Pinkie Pie is back in the party, and by the way, she will always return in the front row, she will have learned any abilities of the monster formation she returned in. In that case, Bomb. Remember, she will not learn the abilities of any monsters you meet in between her bouncing and returning. So we have some new abilities, but the question is, are they worth it? Well, in this case, Repo Man's kind of useless, but the other one, oh, they're right next to each other. Perfect. Bomb, this is actually a pretty good ability right here, but I'll get over to that a little later. So, how many abilities can Pinkie learn? 255. Yeah, you heard correctly. 255. Although, technically, 3 of them are monsters that cannot appear on the Veldt. One of which, by the way, happens to be Daring Do. So, really, it's 252 abilities. And, frankly, a good 90% of them are crap. By the way, did you know that 80% of statistics are made up on the spot? Yeah, I'll let that sink in a moment, and you can take that however you want. So, anyway, even though I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, yeah, there is no way I'm going to try to get all 252 abilities. I actually tried once in the original, and it sucks. In fact, it's not even plausible to obtain that many abilities. It is best to acquire as few abilities as possible so that you're not sifting through an enormous list just to find the few good abilities you're looking for. Consequently, you may want to run from most battles whenever Pinkie Pie is away, and only fight when Pinkie can return for an ability you want or during an ability you already have, which I personally refer to as safe battles. So, you know, like for if you fight a Whisper, for example. Because, you know, you don't want to collect any unnecessary abilities you'll never use, like this one. So, keep in mind, you can't run away from every battle either. If you couldn't run away from the battle originally, whether due to story or what have you, then you can't run away here. You know what would have been really nice here? A compendium. Sort of like the one from Persona 3 and Persona 4. You know, a place that we could dump off old, useless abilities that will still save and allow us to recover them if need be. I wish the original programmers had thought of something like that. So anyway, which of the 253 abilities are worth acquiring? Well, I have my personal picks for this particular trip to the Veldt listed on screen now. Note that you can only meet I believe they're pronounced Primordite and or Commander if you have already completed Bloom's quest. Otherwise, Darkwind and Areneid, both of which are creatures you can meet just outside of Neche, make good substitutes. The reason I choose Primordite and Commander over Darkwind and Areneid is because they come in formations by themselves without any unnecessary monsters, such as how Darkwind always have the useless Leaper with them. Of these mildly suggested abilities, I also like Cirpius for Haste 2, but that's just me. Otherwise, I don't really want to bother with the other mild suggestibles. By the way, while you are searching for abilities, you may want to defeat the Telstar at least 3 times before you leave, because every time you do, you will win another Green Beret. It could be useful in the very, very, very near future. And I know, there are many out there who despise Veldt hunting. It can take a long time. On this first trip, you will probably spend anywhere from 20 to 50 minutes looking for the abilities I just prescribed. Don't worry though, there are some tricks that I'll tell you about a bit later that will actually allow you to manipulate the Veldt and find what you want with minimal fuss. But first, time to hunt. Haha! Fortunately for me, I prepared ahead of time, and I picked up all the abilities I wanted. Plus, I somewhat regrettably picked up Hazer, despite the fact that I know I'll probably never use it. And I happenstantially picked up Trillium because it was in the same battle as the Cirpius that I wanted. So, let's take a little time to go over some of these abilities, and I'll also explain why I don't care about a few other formerly awesome abilities, like Telstar, Overmind, and Rhodox. Anyway, here's my current setup, which I will be using for, the foreseeable future. So, let's get into a battle real quick. Ghosts, awesome. Okay, so, let's start with Commander, because it has the Break spell. Boom! Notice, as of version 0.99, it does a ton of damage. Ha, that was weak. Anyway, I hate to, rain on the parade of Quick Fix who was trying to make it a useful ability and all, but personally, I don't really care about the damage that Break can do. It's status effect that I care about. Petrify. It's not really like something that I'm going to be using all over the place, honestly, which is why it's not a critical one that I chose. It's the fact that it can be used against a couple of bosses in the game. Yeah, so let's see. Next. Oh, you know what? While I'm here, where is it? I might as well go over this. Cirpius has Haste too. It's a beneficial to us. But note that even though it is, I'll always select the enemies first. So in order to use this, I'll have to manually choose ourselves and also manually multi-target it, despite the fact that it's normally a multi-target ability. Oh, also, notice that it coincidentally has a float status, which gave to Pinkie there, which is also cool. Let's see. The other ones I really want to go over. Not yet. Primordite, where are you? Yeah, there it is. So, this one I definitely want to go over because it's a little misleading, and actually I'm going to use it on AJ just so that you can see. Here we go, though. Numblade! See how it said fail? Well, this is actually the stop spell, and AJ can't do anything now. Despite the fact that it said fail, it actually did work. As far as I can tell, and I can really only hypothesize here, it says fail because Primordite, or excuse me, Numblade technically is a physical attack, and it doesn't do any damage. So, yeah, that's why it says fail. So don't let that mislead you. It will always, always, always say fail, as far as I'm aware. So, yep. Don't worry, it will work. Let's see. Otherwise, I would like to use... Okay, Bomb is next. This is basically Fire 2 with a little bit of additive power. You know, basically just throw it out there. That's probably our most powerful multi-target attack. Right? Well, actually, no, it's not. I take that back. The reason that I care about that over the Hazer's Bolt 2 or... what was it, the Darkside's Ice 2, is because most every enemy that we're going to be encountering from here on out doesn't really have a weakness to fire. I mean, excuse me, doesn't have a strength against fire. So, you know, you might as well use this guy that happenstantially is right here. That's cool. Okay, so I kind of wish this had been a pincer attack of some kind, but the next thing to go over is the ever-awesome Marshal. This, by the way, is one of 3 bosses that can appear on the Veldt. You know, this is that guy that was way back in Nashe when we were protecting Twy with the Scootaloos. This is a great ability because it's naturally multi-targeting. I kind of wish there was more enemies on the screen, too. Even if I chose one enemy, it'll actually multi-target everything. And the great thing about this ability, besides being a really powerful wind attack, which almost nothing in the game... Well, I shouldn't say that. Which very few enemies in the game are strong against. It will automatically target everything, even if it's a pincer attack. So both sides. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to say about Blaze back there. The fact that we can multi-target it manually ourselves is why other enemies with Fire 2 and also the Pterodon's Fireball ability, which is normally a multi-target ability, are obsolete in this version of the game. And now we go over the really good ability, Stray Cat. This is the reason that I don't care for any of the single target abilities in the game this early, because Stray Cat can just straight up do a ton of damage. More so than any of those single targets spells. And since I have Pinkie equipped with, what's it called? The Magnet Hoof, she automatically uses it twice, which is even better. And keep in mind, Stray Cat is a physical attack, and as Pinkie levels up, and as she equips stronger weapons, this will continually become even stronger. This will continue to be her single most powerful attack throughout the entire game. Alrighty. So... that's basically what I wanted to say about those. So, you know, those are going to be our main abilities for right now. Anyway, if you only get 2 abilities this time around, then Marshal and Stray Cat are critical musts. If you get only one ability for the rest of the game, make it Stray Cat, as I said, it will continue to be the most powerful attack you have for the rest of the game. So, anyway, you might think Veldt hunting is a pain, but now I'm going to tell you one of the 2 tricks that make it a little less painful. The first is unfortunately going to be a little hard to demonstrate because my particular screen recording program moves if I move the mouse, but I'll try and make do. Anyway, here's the trick, and this also works in the original version of the game, though I think it was eliminated from the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance versions. Anyway, first, since we are using an emulator, you will probably want to save state first. Okay, you know what? Let's see what we are going to fight next, supposedly. Alright, so next is supposed to be Whisper. Okay, and I've reloaded the save state. Now, we want to save the game manually, the regular way. So now we want to manually reset the game, and the camera's going to move with me here. So in order to do that, we're going to go... Oh, what do you know? It didn't move for once. That's awesome. So here we go. I hope this is still recording. We're going to reset the game like this. Yeah, this is still recording, right? And then we're just going to quickly speed through that. Oops, wrong button. Gonna reload from here. And next. Come on, come on. Where are you? Notice, different enemies! Haha. This is because whenever you reset like that, the game adds 13 to whatever number pack you were on. So we just jumped up 13 packs. Unfortunately, right now it's really not that useful because, you know, with Bloomin' Twice quests, there are only around 18 packs right now, and there will be even less without theirs. There is a second trick that quite literally... okay, I'm just gonna... Oops, I didn't mean to use that. Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, there is another trick that quite literally allows you to choose which enemy formation you fight, oops, in a given pack. But I can't really do that right now because... I'm sorry, I kind of lost my place on the script. But anyway, I can't do that right now because I would have to continue the story. I mean, I'd need to be able to leave the Veldt, and in order to leave the Veldt, I have to continue the story, and I had to come back here later anyway. So I'm going to demonstrate that other trick on a much more plausible later trip. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up the Veldt. In truth, whether you decide to power up Pinkie or not is purely up to you, but keep in mind that she is going to continue to be one of the most powerful party members from here on out, so long as you keep up on acquiring good abilities for her. And of course, I'm going to tell you which abilities you might want to pick up as we find them, so though I'm not going to be going into as much detail. Alright, and that, my friends, is everything you never wanted to know about the Veldt. Finally. Did you die of boredom yet? Hello? Well, anyway, I'm pretty much done with all the large explanations for a seriously long time, and even for the minor ones for a little bit too, so I can finally put this freaking video behind me and get back to the fun stuff next time on Let's Play My Little Pony Fantasy 6.
Arrivederci!